Greetings from Cartagena, Colombia. Sorry that I haven't posted an update in about a week. What happened was I got here last Monday on February 5th. And what happened was when we left at around 1 p.m., everything was fine in the marketplace. In the morning, I was up money, and then the market started deteriorating and I started losing a little bit of money. But then when I landed here at around 4:20, I saw the carnage that transpired the previous day or that trading day in the market, where the S&P was down around, I think it was down around 100 points. And when I looked at my positions, I saw that I was actually short puts or long SVXY, which fell from around $70 to around $15. And I recognized that I would take huge losses. And usually when I take losses, if I lose $100,000 or $200,000, it really doesn't impact me at all, because I recognize that it's just a paper loss and I'm confident in that position, and I know that with time eventually that position is going to become profitable. But this situation was very different because SVXY fell so much, and then I received a phone call from my broker saying that the margin requirements on SVXY were going to change, and as a result it would have to be 100% cash secured, meaning that I would either have to deposit more money from my bank account, or I'd have to close out that position and assume a $350,000 loss. And that's what I did. I closed out the position and I lost $350,000. It will probably take me around 3 to 4 months to make all that money back and to hit a high watermark in 2018. In this situation, I was pretty disappointed with myself. I think I was depressed for about 1 or 2 days. And the reason is that when I lost this money, it was so avoidable. It was just really stupid for me to trade this SVXY. I entered into the position with good intentions. I actually entered into it short calls in November of 2017, but then the market kept going against me, so I started selling puts in order to increase the amount of premium that I was receiving, and eventually I ended up flipping around my original position from short calls to short puts, and that's what ended up fucking me over. So I was very disappointed that I allowed myself to trade SVXY and to lose this money, and it was just so avoidable. And to take a loss of $350,000, when people make $350,000 in a year, that's more than like 99% of the population. And I just started thinking, like, I'm such an idiot for losing this much money, and I lost all of it in like one day. And I think that the takeaway here is the mental side of trading is incredibly important, because one, you have to be disciplined, so you should never be trading leverage ETFs. But even myself, and I've been trading for 20 years, and I've been implementing this short option strategy for about the past 5 years. And even myself, I was depressed for about 2 or 3 days when I lost this money. And I have 100% certainty and 100% confidence that I'm going to make this money back. There is not one cell in my entire body that it has any doubt that I'm going to make this money back. But even with that, I was just very disappointed, because I was thinking, like, well, if I didn't lose this money, you're actually costing yourself more, because if you make 50 to 70% a year and you spent 4 months trying to make this money back, then in the long term you're actually losing much more. But I started ruminating in my mind about this, and that caused me to be depressed for a few months, and it was very disappointing. But I'm back. I feel good. I know that I'm going to make that money back. I reduced the number of securities in my watch list, and as a result, I'm going to tighten and reduce the number of securities that I trade. Right now, the only security that is being challenged is UPS. My average strike price in UPS is about $110, and the underlying is trading for around 106. I placed that trade about 2 weeks ago. So once that position goes in my favor, then I'm never gonna trade UPS again. That's my only bad position at the moment. But the other takeaway is all of these people who claim to make a lot of money in the financial markets, in 2017, I was successful on almost every single one of my trades. I made $755,000. I post every single one of my trades. And even though I guess it's not really right to say I was successful on 100% of my trades, because what ends up happening is the initial trades, probably 95% of them are successful, and then I have to massage them and roll them in order to make sure that they are successful. But the ultimate conclusion was that 100% of my trades in 2017 ended up being successful. And when you have that type of win rate, even for someone like myself who places very high probability trades, I still fuck up and have a situation like I did last week, from the week of February 5th through February 9th, where I lost $350,000. Now I'm going to make that money back, but even for myself, I still have an occasional fuck up. And when you hear situations where people say that they turn $10,000 into $4 million, they are 100% scamming you. They are selling you a dream. They're preying on the vulnerable people who are looking for a quick fix and a magic trick. And you really have to look out and be careful not to trust these people. Or maybe there is an occasional person who is so incredible, even though I completely doubt it, and I think that almost all of them are scammers. But you should ask them for their entire brokerage statements, so their full transaction history, their brokerage statements, which I post, and also a screen recording of all of their filled transactions. None of them do this, and the reason that they don't do this is because they're selling you the sizzle, but there's no stake there. They're selling you the dream, but they're just marketers and they're not really traders. So 2 main takeaways from this video. The first, well, I guess 3 main takeaways. The first is not to trade leverage ETFs. The second is investor psychology is incredibly important, and even for someone like myself who's been involved in the stock market for 20 years, who worked as an investment banker on Wall Street, I still was depressed for 2 or 3 days when I lost $350,000. And the third thing is be very careful who you trust and who you look up to, because practically all of them are bullshitting you and they're selling you a dream, and they're preying on the vulnerable people who hope that by simply swiping a credit card, they'll be able to obtain the dreams without putting in the hard work, which is impossible. You have to learn this skill. And if you do follow someone, then ask to see their entire brokerage statements from every single month that shows all of their trades, as well as a screen recording that shows their entire trading history with their filled transactions.